Did it start with the New Friends Fest, or was there something before this? Like, how did this kind of idea start?
Well, I've always been involved in music and DIY since I was a teenager. It's something that has been a really huge part of my life and has had a very large impact on me. I did music as a career, as a musician for many, many years. And eventually I kind of broke into the film industry as a producer myself. And I wanted to make my own film. And I figured the first thing I should do is the thing that I know the most about, which is DIY and underground music. So that's kind of what inspired me to begin this project. Yeah.
And I just like supporting everything Vanessa does. So when they come up with great ideas and they want me to be involved, I'm there. I love being kind of a support background person to make sure that their art gets made the way that they authentically want to make it. So that's why I joined. I mean, I'm also long time in bands, played for years. That's how we met, luckily. We were on the same bill. We both fronted heavier metal-y, screamo-y bands in the city for a long time, and our friendship just grew from there. So it's been probably 10 years coming for us to collaborate and make something together like this. It's pretty exciting.
Well, you share the city.
We do. Well, I'm a Torontonian, born and raised. Vanessa's new to our city, about a decade, but I think we definitely shared that scene, the screamo heavier scene, and promoting more inclusion in that scene, and trying to make sure that not just a bunch of white men were sort of what was being featured and what was on stage all the time, because it gets real effing boring.
Can y'all talk to that diversity and the amount of wonderful people along the way you got to interview? I love how many different people we meet.
So we actually interviewed way more people than ended up being featured in the doc, but we had to unfortunately make that hard decision of condensing it down because we knew that we were making a short film from the get-go. But something that has always been a part of me and my music experience is radical inclusivity. So I really like to make sure that the people that you see performing on the stage are also in the audience and they can see themselves, and it's just inclusive and welcoming. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I do it because it honestly incites a certain deep level of rage. Like when you're part of an oppressed group that you don't see yourself represented, there's nothing like taking that rage and finding 4 to 5 other people and going, let's start a band. I hate to break it to everybody, it's actually not that hard. It's really easy to start a band. You can do it. Anyone can do it. And so part of, I think, what we try to also promote is that. So it's not just inclusivity, but like anyone is welcome and anybody can make music. And there's no such thing as bad music. So just make what you want to make and we'll come out and support you and pay the $5 for sure.
I'm curious, where did the title for the film come from?
So we actually had no idea what the title of the film was going to be for a really long time. We knew what we were doing and what we were focusing on, but it actually came out through our edit. Our wonderful editor, Xenia, who, like, without him, like, our film would not be what it is, for sure. But at the end of the film, when credits would be rolling, he put in this sound clip of people yelling, "One more song," like, from the festival. And we were like, wow, that's just like, it's so anthemic and it's so fitting for what the story is about. And so that's where it came from, One More Song. And then the Love Letters to DIY is really just to encapsulate what the film is about, so people know that it is capturing a portraiture, like a small snippet of the giant community that exists around the world for underground DIY music.
So this may be centric just to Unsound with how we programmed, but y'all aren't a part of a short block. You get to play before a feature, and I think a feature, at least for the DIY side, fits in extremely perfect. And I think Northeast-wise fits in very similar, even if Fugazi's maybe a little different. But I love the pairing of your film. What do y'all feel about it?
Yeah, so when we were accepted into the film festival, of course, we were very honored and excited. It felt very fitting that it is a festival that is surrounding or is encompassing music. And then when we found out that we were playing ahead of the Fugazi film, it was definitely a large compliment. Yeah. Like we keep saying to each other, we're like, we're opening for Fugazi, yeah. No big deal, you know? It definitely feels special for sure to us. It's a compliment, I think, for sure.
Well, also they're like born out of second generation hardcore, right? And so like Minor Threat, it was a huge influence when I started listening to hardcore music. So on top of it being a huge compliment, like it's going to be a friggin' awesome doc to watch too. We get to go see a really cool free movie, and secondary we get to also show our movie. So it's pretty exciting.
I'm curious, as far as all the wonderful people we meet, we get a lot more backstory than I ever imagined we would in 17 minutes. How close to this community are you, and how much fun was it to learn things about the people you know around you? I was like, some of these people, the story about her father helping her get to church, I was like, this is really fun, fascinating stuff.
Well, all these people are people we know, people we've shared stages with, people we've thrown festivals with, and so part of making sure that this was an honest portrait was making sure that their stories were clear, like, and giving them the opportunity to really talk about like how DIY has changed their lives. What has it done to benefit them, not just in music but in community, and to better themselves. So we thought it was really important to give backstory. Like, it's one thing to be like, it's really awesome to go to a show and rock out and see my friends. It's another thing to know how people actually internalize that ethos, and I think we really, not to give away the ending, but like, community is of utmost importance, and it's really what's going to heal us all in general. And so if we can show people, like, look what it does, look what it has done for people in terms of healing, I think then we've done our job as filmmakers. So we were lucky. People were very trusting of us and willing to tell us their true stories, and I think that's what makes it special.
I don't think I can give a better answer than Kirsten for that one, but I'll just add to it in terms of how I know these people and everything like that, is that, I grew up with them. They're my best friends. They're people that I've known forever. They have forged and shaped my life. And some of them are new friends. And I didn't know them before, but somebody recommended, oh, you should talk to this person. Like, I think that they have a really cool story. And it just really goes to show that, like, having that community, like, it really just inspires and it makes something special. Yeah.
Earlier you mentioned you had a lot of footage, other interviews we don't get to see in this film. Is there hopes of an additional film, a sequel, a feature version, a series? And along the lines of just making this process, has it changed any hopes of any other film ideas that you may want to dive into next?
Yeah, this is definitely, a spec or a tester of something that could be a larger story for us. So it's definitely something that's on our mind that we would love to do if we have the opportunity to expand upon this. We would absolutely love to, and get really, really into the nitty gritty and into what DIY is on a larger scale. And it's definitely inspiring some other ideas for me. I have some other stuff that is in the works, and we'll see what happens. I don't want to jinx myself by giving too much away, but yeah, other stuff is happening that I wouldn't be happening if it wasn't for me doing this. So I'm very excited.
I mean, like I said, I joined this project because this is one of my best friends, and I wanted to support them and make sure that they could make what they want to make. So I'm always down to continue. I'm always down to make something extra. I mean, I would love to put those interviews out just as is eventually, if they don't end up in some full-time space, and create a little community hub where you can go and see people talk about what's inspired them and how DIY moves them, and maybe open it up to a bigger than the hardcore scene, bigger than the screamo scene, and see if we can get more of a community involved. That would be something I would love to do. But like I said, I'm just sort of I want to support Vanessa in this. I want this art to really feel like easy for them to make, and I want to make, it matters. It matters that you do this in community. It matters that you put the right people in the right positions to make stuff. I don't, if like they say in the film, all power to you if you can make it by yourself, but it's actually way more fun to do with your friends. So wherever Vanessa wants to go, I'll be right behind them.
Have people in the film been able to see it, or is there plans to show it to them?
So we've been really bad and have been keeping the film mostly a secret from everybody.
It has a world premiere. You can't show everybody. everybody.
Yes. Okay, I shouldn't say that we're being bad, but we do have a YouTube screener, and if people who have been in the film want to see it, it's up to them. They can. Otherwise, we're welcoming them to wait until we get to show it locally, like in our city in Toronto. We would love to have a premiere there. We haven't yet. This is actually our world premiere, so this is the first time publicly that people will be viewing the film. But I'm really looking forward to seeing how they felt about the end result of it. But most of them have decided to wait, so looking forward to having them see it. Yeah.
We're literally moments away from y'all heading to the theater.
Yeah.
What are y'all feeling? Like, what's the emotions? This is so cool.
Here you go.
I think it's a pretty good, accurate description of what's happening. I mean, like, I'm nervous, I'm anxious. It's interesting to see where, like, I'm mentally getting hung up. It's actually all about, like, the technical aspect of, like, making sure this goes well, and I think that that's a sign of everything having gone so well that the only thing I can worry about is, oh my God, if the power goes out, what's gonna happen? But otherwise, I'm excited. I mean, it's gonna be our first time doing this, and so hopefully we can stay as present as possible and breathe and have a great fucking time. Maybe smoke a joint, I don't know, you know?
Yeah, I think I would only describe it as nervous energy. It's just, I don't know, it's like this internal thing. I've been holding on to it for so long, and like, yeah, I'm really excited to show it. Yeah.
I love you.
Thank you for making this film and showing us so much of this community. It's a community we want to know more about, so I can't wait to see what's next. And yes, go have a good fucking time. This is awesome. Thank you guys.
Thank you guys.